Hey Sainers, hope you're all having a great week so far. Welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Quick little recap on night one of the AFL Draft. Firstly, thanks to everyone for tuning in to our live stream last night. It went for nearly 3 hours, as the draft always loves to take its sweet time, and a lot of comments, a lot of engagement, a lot of fun. So thank you very much for tuning in. The night itself, I think, was as good as it could have been given certain circumstances. And we kind of knew going into the night that, if Adelaide did what we didn't want them to do, that would kind of force our hand. And after that, everything kind of went exactly like Cal Toomey's predictions. So his Phantom was pretty much spot on when it came to the top 10. Sam Laylor was 1, Finn O'Sullivan was 2, Jagger Smith 3, Sid Draper 4. That was the one that we kind of needed to be Harvey Langford. Then Levi Ashcroft 5, Harvey Langford to Melbourne. If Sid Draper was a Crow, we were kind of hoping Melbourne would pick possibly Tauru. That didn't happen because that meant Langford might have fallen to us because Josh Smiley was pretty much certain to go to Richmond at 7. We picked Tobie Travaglia, at 8. 188 centimeters, Bendigo Pioneers kid. It's funny, everyone says he's a defender, but in the AFL Draft Tracker, he's listed as a mid. He's not listed as a defender. He's listed as a mid, which I thought was interesting because we're all obsessively saying we picked up 2 defenders, but really, over time, I think we've probably picked him to become a midfielder. We haven't picked him to... He will play halfback probably just to ease into his AFL career, but he's not going to play in the guts immediately, but he will eventually play there. He's got all the tools to do it. Number 9, Leo Lombard with the bid, and then Alix Tauru at 10. Now, so our haul on night 1 was Travaglia at 8, Tauru at 10. So that leaves us with 32 on night 2 tonight. We'll talk about that later. Pick 51 as well. And then a couple of much later picks, 76, 84, to round it out. So not a lot will happen there, I don't think. But a lot of people are very upset that we picked up supposedly 2 defenders. Obviously, it's disappointing to miss out on some of that elite talent. But outside of that, I don't think we could have done much more. I know some people, including myself, wanted us to kind of trade back in and try and get a slider. Maybe try and get a pick in the range of, 12 to 20. Pick up a Bo Allen who went at 16 to West Coast. Who else was there? There was Xavier Lindsay to Melbourne at 11. So we picked up Tauru ahead of Lindsay. Tauru could well have the biggest ceiling, biggest X factor out of anyone in that top 10. And I'm not even kidding. He could be absolutely anything. So to pick him up at 10... At that point, it's best available, and he was best available at that pick. He's better than he is better than Lindsay, than Houghton, than Bo Allen, than Murphy Reid. He is better than them. He's just not a midfielder. But we picked best available, and I think when you miss out on, the Drapers, the Langfords, the Smileys, these sort of players that we kind of wanted us to slide to us. When you miss out on those, I think at the end of the day, you pick just the best. You just pick what's there that you think can just better the team overall. And to be honest, we've lost Josh Battle and we've picked up Tauru. He could definitely play centre half back long term for us, and then pick up Cole tonight, NGA fullback, that's sorted. Ari, the backline's looking pretty much assured. Again, it's an issue, the midfield, I know, but tonight there are potentials for us to amend that. There's Hugh Boxshall, midfielder, who looks good. I think maybe even Christian Moraes, pick 31. If he slides to that, he is a pure outside mid. That could be quite nice. So if we picked him up on top of what we've already got, I think a lot of people would actually be okay with that. There's also talks that Alex Dodson, who's the best ruck in the draft, he's still on the table. 203 centimeters. Maybe that's one we could look at with Keeler probably playing more forward or back. Max Heath, unproven. Rowan Marshall kind of being the lone hand in the ruck capacity at the moment. I know we've been looking at Harry Boyd, but if Dodson's on the table, do we pick the best ruck? So there's opportunities there as well. I have heard we've been looking at Jasper Olga, who's more of your Tom Papley sort of medium-sized forward, not a midfielder. So I think a lot of people would be happy with Moraes or Hugh Boxall, from Claremont. So those two are probably the ones that are most likely on the table. Just depends on what Richmond have got the first pick tonight. The Dogs, West Coast, the Dogs again, and us. So the good thing is Richmond, they've picked up a number of mids, so I don't know if they go mid again tonight at that first pick. I'm worried they might pick up Dodson as a ruck for Nank, because he's still on the table, and I don't think they've picked up a ruck at all with their 10 picks they've had so far. The Dogs, they're not going to need a midfielder, so I don't think they're going to go with any of those. Maybe a ruck, but they've got enough tall, so they might miss Dodson. Eagles, again, I don't think they probably pick a tall. And then it's Dogs again, like I just said. So maybe we do get a couple of options at pick 32 tonight. I think that's going to be interesting. But to summarize, picking up Travaglia and Tauru, it's growing on me. Travaglia, the more I watch of him, and even you watch the interviews and the way Alix Tauru speaks, it sounds like he's got that level of confidence that Mateus had when we drafted him. Spoke really well, really confidently. There's an interview with him and Travaglia last night post-draft for about 8 minutes, and there's a question in there about, North were looking at him at pick 2. You got to prove them wrong, this and that. And he's like, I don't really care. The only person I need to prove anything to is me and my family, and the club. So I love that about him. He knows that he's capable of playing both ends. He's like, I know I can play both ends really well. I think I'm a good player, basically, is what he said. I love that about him, and I think that goes to show, it's not just, fitting a need is great, but it's also fitting a culture and driving a standard, and both these boys look like they mean business. They just want to win, they want to play footy, and I know you can say that about basically everyone in the top 10, but I have to back in the club, based on what we've done the last 3 or 4 years. I just have to back in the club that these. And what else could we, we could have picked up a Xavier Lindsay, but you're not picking those players up ahead of Tauru. I wanted Tauru out of the 2 picks. Tobie was the one I wasn't sure, but it seemed like we were quite committed to him. And it's growing on me the more I watch him and just the style of play. He's a running machine, and if he's a Darcy Wilson out of the back half moving midfield versus Darcy on the wing moving forward, we've got a lot of running power in this team, which is quite dangerous. And who knows? We don't know. Maybe that's the way the game is going to be evolving. We know running is major, and we know that's a big strength of ours. So why not continue to strengthen it? And trading back in was almost impossible at the end of the day. Apparently, we did offer 7 and a future first to North for 2, and they obviously picked Finn O'Sullivan. And then North go and give up their future first for 27. So they've blown that. That to me tells me that maybe they think they're going to lose LDU. That's why they picked Finn O'Sullivan ahead of Tauru. They picked a gun mid to replace a gun mid, and giving up a future first means that maybe they lose LDU, they get a future first in compensation anyway. That'll be a top 5 pick. So they lose pick 4 or whatever it might be next year, and they get a pick 4 or 5 if they lose LDU in compensation. So I think that's probably the play that North went. We weren't going to give overs to move a couple of spots up. I don't think it was necessary. They're 2 Saners now. I'm super excited to have them on board. Tauru could be anything. Flying machine. Got a bit of Rewalt, Trevor Barker about him, which is really awesome. And Tobie, he looks like he's got a good head on him. He looks like he's just an ultimate professional. And 188 centimeters. He might even grow a little bit more, fill out a little bit more. He's a running machine. Very, very fast. I'm happy to have them. So tonight is the night. This is where Dalrymple can do his magic, because, like I said, there are 3 or 4 really, really good options that have slid that are yet to be picked. Couple of mids, a ruck, maybe a forward. They're all going to be, I reckon, on the table. Most of them will be available at our first pick tonight at 32. So we've seen the last couple of years what we've done with Hugo Garcia at pick 50 odd, and these sort of players, Ari in the 70s or 60s. We've done most of our really, really strong work at the back end of the draft when you probably give up on a couple of picks. But that's where we're nailing it lately. We're getting picks in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and they're turning out to be Garcias, Aries, Hasties, these sort of players that are very, very good. So, I think that's where he's going to earn his money. I think we played it exactly how we should have on night one, given what other clubs did. And we weren't going to be desperate and give up 7 and 8 or anything like that. We offered 7 and future first to North, apparently, and they didn't take it. So we did what we had to do after that. So I'm happy to have them. I think that's a solid night one. Tonight's going to be interesting because on top of that, we get Hoffman, we're going to get Cole, and we're going to get Elwood Peckett probably tonight or maybe in the rookie draft as that Sandy sort of pickup. So we're going to have a lot of, we'll be pretty active tonight, I'd imagine. Maybe we give up a future first and get another pick in the 40s because we don't. We've got 32 and then it goes to 51. So maybe there's a way we can get 32 and we can move into the 40s, or we try and move up from 32 because Bulldogs have got 2 picks ahead of us. Maybe we can do a swap with them at 29 and get the second pick tonight from after Richmond. So big night tonight, Saners. That's a quick little wrap on night one. Alix Tauru and Tobie Travaglia, very, very happy to have them on board. Our under-23 squad, by the way, someone posted an image before. Our under-23s, there's a lot of talent in that team, and it's only going to build out in in the coming days when we pick up a couple of other players tonight. So very excited. Good to have them on board. Thank you, Saners. Put your thoughts in the comments. Please subscribe, and I'll see you very, very soon post-draft for a draft wrap. So take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, go Mighty Saners. See you guys.